All right. We are live. Welcome in, everyone. Hope you guys are having a lovely Friday. As I should have said in today's earlier stream, I hope you all had a lovely Thanksgiving. I want to welcome Eric. I kept blanking. I want to welcome
There we go.
Eric. Eric is a really good friend of mine. He's got what's going on, Nora? I haven't seen you for a little bit. How you doing? Did you have a good Thanksgiving? This is Eric. Eric. Uh, actually, you know what? Better who to introduce you than yourself, right? So, Eric, go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us what exactly we're talking about today.
Hey guys, I'm Eric. I just did a I did a lot of stuff because I didn't know what I wanted to do really, and today we'll be talking about the issues with our farmers in the U.S. We'll be talking about more family-oriented farming as well as a little bit of corporate farming and the issues that that's causing for everyone involved, and how it's all basically a monopoly controlled by 3 to 4 companies.
Usually, like private equity controlled by Blackstone and a few other ones. But
Yeah, they're involved in this too because Bayer, the pharmaceutical company, is one of the also parent companies for the farming as well. So Bayer controls a lot of that.
okay. So, how long have you been around farming? Did you grow up on a farm? Um,
Uh, I I grew up around ranches and stuff when I was younger, but I didn't really get around to a farm until the last 5 years where we live currently. We're on about 850 acres.
mhm.
Uh, so I gained a lot of experience just talking to the landlords and kind of
Okay.
getting the lay of the land locally from them. Yeah,
Okay.
and of course I did 4-H and stuff in school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So what was
They
4-H like? What do they teach you at 4-H?
for us, I went in Texas, so it was mostly about ranching and stuff. So we'd learn how to, herd cattle and rope them and do all the ranching stuff, and
Mhm.
of course train and break horses and all that. But we didn't really learn about agriculture so much. We touched on it, but it was mostly about ranching when I was in 4-H.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. So, um um what how long have you been uh, in the farming industry?
Uh, about 5 years now.
About 5 years. Okay.
About 5 years when we got here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you mainly do? What do you mainly deal in?
So I just consult really. That's my specialty is consultation,
Mhm.
and in a number of fields, not just farming, but I just help optimize. I would say I help optimize things people are struggling with,
Okay, I got you.
which a big part of that is now connected to those tariffs.
Oh, okay. Okay, so explain to us what exactly these tariffs do. What's going on with the tariffs?
So basically, you have an option to purchase. Well, sometimes you have an option to purchase seeds locally. We'll use this farm that I'm on, for example. They'll use a company called Revere, which is mostly local. But
Mhm.
because they have to order specialized seeds, they have to come from overseas, which is like engineered seeds. So these seeds may have a resistance to certain types of insects, or it may be resistant to drought, depending on the type of seed you need for your area and how it was engineered to grow.
Yeah.
But if you have to order those specialized seeds, none of that is done in America, so you have no choice but to order it from overseas.
It kind of begs the question: why aren't they engineered here, or why don't we have any of the uh, seeds available here?
That's a very good question. I wouldn't particularly know the answer to that one. I just know that locally in the US, we pretty much will specialize in just really good seeds, but none of the specializations that they would be resistant to certain insects or drought or this or that
Okay.
type of example.
Okay. So we're having to buy seeds, from overseas. What
Mhm.
what usually comes with that?
So usually what comes with that, because of, they call them the ABCs, and it's the three major companies that control the seed market essentially for the farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially what they do, because they know they have a monopoly, they'll jack the price up to whatever they essentially want it to be. So say you're a farmer and you know you're making $500 per acre, they will infer that from the information they have available, and they will start charging 480 or 490 per acre just so you're only making a $10 profit.
Ah,
See here.
what's going on, Mike? How you doing, brother? So $10. So is that what's that compared to what they could make?
They could make the full 500 the seeds were if the seeding companies and the chemical companies, of course, because some chemicals have to come from overseas as well. So if they would negotiate a realistic price, then the farmer could make the whole 500 profit. Because what we're talking about is not just them choosing a price. That $500 was the full profit margin,
Hmm.
but they will jack it up to 90% of that full profit margin. So the farmer could potentially make that 500 per acre as profit, is what I mean, after he's already spent all the money required to get there.
Okay, yeah, but instead of that, they jack not just the pricing of that, but because of the pricing is going up because of the monopoly, the market alone dictates that it's well above what they would even be making to begin with. And so because of that, they only make a very minimal amount of profit.
Right. And
Right.
then they still have to be responsible for maintaining all the farm equipment. Like, for example, on the farm we're on, just one thing is we have a mile long driveway to the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
And if we wanted to have that paved, that would cost over $1 million. But the alternative is
Why?
gravel, which still costs $20,000 per load,
Why?
just because how long and how big the driveway would be.
Oh, okay. So just the amount of Wait, that would be that, that would cost you $1 million for the concrete?
Yeah, just for the blacktop, yeah, just to have
What?
the tar and everything.
How is it that
Hmm.
expensive?
Yeah, it's really, especially where I am here in Maryland. I haven't looked in a while, but the last time I looked, it was about $22,500 per acre. Well,
Wow.
so it's super expensive here.
That's
Like
pretty
big,
expensive.
yeah.
And I know
Like whenever
some land will be there are some regions here and there that'll dictate which is going to be or which property value is going to be higher or lower. But is it usually pretty expensive in Maryland?
yeah, like generally everything's very expensive here, because a lot of times what happens is people will make a lot of money in New York and then come retire here in Maryland, because if they retire in New York, they're kind of middle class maybe, but if they come retire here, they could potentially live like kings and be rich. 'Cause
Right.
it's even cheaper here than there somehow.
Right. Mike, what is Monsanto? I don't know what Monsanto is. Anyway.
Monsanto is part of Bayer. They're one of the ones that control the genetic herbicides and pesticides and stuff like Roundup.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're one of the ones that can just decide whatever they want to charge farmers, because it's not just the seed company, right? It's a mix of different companies who also do the chemicals, who also, like, if you look at tractors, there's only two big tractor companies, and that's John Deere and whatever the other one they use. I keep forgetting the name.
Husqvarna.
But yeah, I think so. Yeah, Husqvarna maybe. But there's only two that are large enough to even compete, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Because you have Bayer and Monsanto, and they control all the like herbicides and like Roundup and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Pioneer, which is the Pioneer you're thinking of that did electronics and all that when we were kids. They're the biggest supplier of corn and soybean seed, which is what we grow on this property. And then you have Syngenta, which is a China-based company, and they dominate the chemicals, the other chemicals that are needed, such as like ammonia and things.
Mm-hmm.
And China also dominates the pork market. So corporately, there's nobody that can compete with them.
Okay.
As far as every time you buy bacon or something, it's probably Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they control 90% of the world market on pork over
Really?
the whole world.
China?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, China is
what?
a corporate titan, man.
That's
Also, China has Tencent, which controls 90% of almost every video game you've ever loved is owned by the same Chinese company, probably Tencent. There's very few that they don't own.
really. Yo,
Yeah.
what? Okay, that's a little concerning, right? Because
Yeah, Google Tencent games real quick and just look through a list of them.
okay. TENSENT, Tencent.
CENT. Cent like a penny, like a
Okay.
CENT, 10
Yeah.
cents.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it says, or that's just them announcing their third quarter there.
Their new AI. Yeah.
Wow.
So now they're going to start forcing their creators who they own to use AI to speed up the process of creating games, even if they don't want to.
Really?
That's a whole other thing, though. That's a whole different video.
Yeah. That's a whole different ball game right there. So what I've been seeing from X is, because I wanted to get your kind of expertise on what you would be seeing as a farmer, what you have been seeing, maybe what you've been hearing, because you are a farmer, you're around farmers. What is the deal with all of these crops being sprayed with aluminum?
So we haven't heard anything about that here in Maryland. Not that anybody's been talking about anyway. I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Well,
but I did see.
I will pull this video up here for all of us to watch, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
I've got to show you guys something. This is traditional sweet corn.
Because they actually did
really
something.
This is not what we used to call
in the Obama administration as well.
This is just our regular,
or not the Obama,
buy off the shelf.
Okay.
This is GMO corn. Now we grow this as our field corn. And the reason I want to show you this,
I gotta
is I'm going to show you two things.
Sorry.
This is heirloom corn.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now we don't weed it normally every year. This corn has come up and done really good for the last 10 years. Same seed,
I had to
so
fix
I've
some
grown it
volume
over and over,
levels there.
and we
Okay.
rotate our
You good?
crops. But also, you look at the
Yeah, I'm good.
sunflowers. Once you look at them sunflowers, the sun, I can't see it. Well, the sun basically is right there, and they've got the flowers have turned
Interesting.
away from the sun. This is not something, obviously, if you look down this, that's our garden. We grow over an acre worth of just garden. So what I'm trying to get at is something's not right. There's two things that ain't right. The amount of aluminum in our soil now is 5 times to 10 times higher than it was even last year. Let me show you something else. Now that sweet corn is bought, like I said, from the store, so it's not an heirloom seed. It's supposed to be an all-natural seed. It's non-genetically GMO, but I'm starting to doubt it. However, these are cucumber plants. Now, traditionally, those cucumbers, I'd have so many. After putting them on the stand, we'd be giving them away, giving them to food pantries, and our corn, the heirloom corn, we'd be giving it away. Our garden this year has suffered the worst. It's not due for not water. These are some of our hot pepper plants. Normally, these plants, I would have so many of these hot peppers that you wouldn't be able. I wouldn't be, like I said, I couldn't sell enough of them. We'd be giving them away, and hopefully we have a better garden next year. So we still got enough that we're going to be able to maintain costs, operational costs. We still have our vegetable stand. It's just not booming like it usually is. We've let the weeds kind of come back up and take over some of the garden because we weren't getting the production out of it what we should. So the stand's good. We're going to can enough for our family, but as far as being able to provide for others, it's not going to be as viable for us to be able to do that. Y'all have a good day.
So I saw that and I was like, yo, what the fuck, dude? What is going on? Why is it that these crops are being sprayed and there's nothing being done about it, I just wanted to know if you knew something about that, because there literally is aluminum in our soil, and it's only hurting the farmers.
Yeah, that's very strange because the only thing I know of that really uses any kind of aluminum compounds is when you're growing blueberry or something like that. You'll sometimes have to re-add it in. But it's not actual aluminum even then. It's like a compound that they spray on it.
Yeah.
That contains aluminum. But just spraying that on standard crops, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
If you look back a couple years in the Biden administration, they were having people dump entire trailer loads full of like oil and stuff, just on random roads and stuff. But I haven't heard anything of that kind of caliber since then.
That's pretty weird. What would just random parts of the road?
So in the videos, we can still probably find some on TikTok. That's where I saw most of them. They said it was to reduce the carbon footprint of something to do with farmers.
Of course, the cow farts.
Even though the carbon kind of necessary.
Dude, okay, so they how in the fuck would oil help with reducing a carbon footprint?
That's the $1 million question.
It's just like, oh, how do we reduce our carbon footprint? Well, we get cows to stop farting. That's what? Yeah. So
when cows need to farm.
Are you seeing
It's great.
anything that's not really adding up? Just anything weird? Well, I mean,
Well, the
all of it's
problem
weird.
is, yeah, the problem is that farmers, for the most part, have already been teetering on everything being a big problem for a really long time. They've been on that edge. And the thing is, the tariffs didn't like destroy everything. What they did was they just gave it was the straw that broke the camel's back, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just that last little push to make everything really bad. And
Okay.
I have a video that I was going to have you bring up as well that we could see of
Okay.
a farmer here, but now being a little difficult to find. One sec.
Okay.
And I had it earlier, so it wouldn't.
Okay. Well, while you're
Here we
looking,
go.
while you're looking for that, I remember you talking with me about farmers having to go overseas for specific seeds, right? And
Right.
with the tariffs, can you re-explain to me and to everyone else what exactly those tariffs do?
Yeah, basically, so here's what is basically happening in the background of things. We will charge another country X amount of tariffs to say import goods. Say we'll use this farm as a good example because we send stuff back overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen is we would pay the tariffs to have the seeds imported, the specialized seeds. And then what happens from there is all the crops grow. We also pay for the chemicals, and what we do on this farm also is crop dust. So it keeps the crops alive better. We'll get into that in a bit. But we'll pay for all that, and then when we get the corn and the soy and all that dried out and we send it back, they pay tariffs. But because we're making them pay those tariffs, they then charge more tariffs on the seeds and the chemicals and stuff in the following turn to make up for the cost that they had to pay for those tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're basically sending them one final product of the corn and the soybeans and things, they get to charge 3 separate times of tariffs on us. So it's actually hurting way more than helping.
Yeah, and it's essentially it's it's a double-edged sword, right? We're thinking that
Right.
we're actually gonna do better for this economy, and then we get completely fucked over by them, charging more to make up for that cost. Yeah, so I,
Right, because we outsource a lot of stuff now.
that's
A lot
something.
of our farms in America are sent over there.
A lot of our farms are sent overseas.
Yeah, and we
Really?
get ours from, we get a lot of our fruit and stuff from like South America, just because it's easier to grow there.
Oh, really? I thought most of our
Yeah.
farms, or I thought everything was grown here in America. I didn't know it was imported like that.
Oh no, that would be optimal. If that was the case, then tariffs would be great. But the issue is America's switched to outsourcing for a lot of jobs that Americans didn't want to do. So now that we're not doing those, we have to pay for everything.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Because
so
how often is it now that you go to a store and you see something not made in another country that you're buying, something that says made in America on it? It's not often at all, is it?
true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so where would you see this really taking us if this keeps happening the way that it does? Like what's the projection? Or I should say the
So,
trajection, not projection.
so the trajectory is pretty much a collapse of all family oriented farms and perhaps all family oriented businesses eventually. And it will just be corporation.
Mm.
So like instead of us having a local farm, this would one day be a Tyson Foods farm, for example.
Right. I do know that the government was intimidating and outright threatening people for selling on their farms. If you remember back a few years, there was a Amish family who was very. I mean, they were threatened. They were absolutely threatened, and they were selling what I think it was like milk and eggs, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they were absolutely threatened with their livelihoods. So, you know, and then you also have the Lone Star tick that's making rounds right now.
Yeah,
You know, can you
right.
imagine? Can you imagine? Oh shit, that's something I never thought about too. If these ticks that are very, let's say, uh, maybe populous, you know, they're very large in number, and they can do the same
Mhm.
thing that they're doing with us by making us allergic to red meat, and they go and they start biting the cows and infecting the cows with alpha gal. Can you imagine the scale of that?
Come on.
So, what in the world do is what do you is there anything else that you happen to be seeing that would really that just raise concerns for you?
Um, it's an amalgamation of we should watch that video I sent you in
Okay.
the private channel
Okay.
because he is really good about the way he words it when he explains it.
Okay. Private channel. Okay, we can go over there.
Just say I was at all soybeans and $150 an acre loss.
Oh.
You're looking at
Oh, okay. Hang on. Going to share here. Oh, no, wrong one. Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay.
Oh,
Going to. All right.
just say I was at all soybeans and $150
yeah, that's
an
the
acre
best
loss.
starting point.
You're
I
looking
would
at
say.
$450,000 a loss for just doing my job. I'm paying an additional $450,000 instead of making anything. I've never seen a crisis like this. Without intervention, we're talking about generational loss of farmers.
In the last year, farm bankruptcies here in Arkansas have nearly doubled. The story in the media is that's because of Trump's trade war with China. And now that China has agreed to a deal, the crisis will pass. But that story is wrong.
The tariffs are a problem, but think of it as being in a coffin, and we're going to nail the lid shut. The tariffs.
Hey, you still there, bud? Your camera's having issues. Or maybe it's me. It might just be me. That's fine. I'll keep playing it.
I'm here.
are
Okay.
the
Easy.
final nail.
This crisis was
Can
here
you hear me?
before he
Yeah.
did the tariff thing. This is a crisis that's been building for decades.
Farmers here told us a bigger
Trying to
story.
fix it.
A handful of companies have built a global system in which they always win, and American farmers are lucky to break even. All supported by our tax dollars.
They're just laundering tax money. None of it stays in the local community.
And while our farmers are dependent on growing crops for countries like China, we import more of our food than ever.
The bigger story is we're very vulnerable to the whims of other countries.
With thousands of farmers on the brink, we wanted to know, how did this happen? And if a deal with
So I have a question. Why? How much food exactly are we importing?
Are we importing?
Yeah,
Or what?
how much food are we importing?
Think if we're not in season for something, then so 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 since it's like winter right now, we're probably importing 80%.
80%?
Yeah.
Wow. Why? We shouldn't be doing that. Is this is this just, maybe white and red meat that we're importing, or is it just crops, or is it all of it?
Uh, not so much meat. It's more produce.
It's more produce.
Yeah, it's mostly crops. Uh,
Mostly.
it's just what doesn't grow in the winter is what. So we're talking like avocados, bananas, strawberries, lettuce,
Hmm.
all that stuff.
Okay. Um. Well, I mean, we really shouldn't be importing more than what we're exporting, anyways. Because as soon as we become dependent on other countries, when things happen, like, I don't know, Trump starting a new war, um, then, you know, uh, there are just there are so many things that could happen, and that puts our own people at risk, especially when there's not
Right.
enough
Well,
food for that country. Of course, they're not going to be exporting as much as they are.
right. Another issue is how abundantly wasteful we are with stuff. Like if you just add up what McDonald's throws away at the end of a night, because a lot of that comes from local farms as well.
Yeah, that's true. We are very wasteful, and
So
that's
we're
a whole
just tossing
monopoly.
away.
Yeah, that's a whole monopoly in of itself. With all, when we're talking about fast food chains.
Right. Now there are also a lot of meats we import too, because you got to think China has like we were talking earlier, China has the monopoly on pork. So Tyson Foods, all of them, that's all China owned. All those companies that you get frozen foods from, a lot of those are Chinese too.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh
Like
man.
the only one that's really safe is Mexico because they have a monopoly on avocados.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, but again, that just brings us back to, we really shouldn't be
Right.
importing all of this stuff. I just didn't know.
Right.
I just didn't
But
know if you had any other things about it.
yeah, unfortunately, no. It's just we import and use and waste more than we keep for ourselves. We'll either export it or like in the example of this farm, we grow hard corn and soy, so it's not even meant for consumption at all by people, really. It's more turned into deer corn or whatever.
Right. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Wait. So a lot of the farms here make things that are completely useless.
Uh, just in this area specifically, like when I lived out, the last time I lived out in California, like Hanford, like they'll grow a lot of they'll grow a lot of produce in and around Hanford and Grass Valley, California.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's not enough produce to really sustain everyone.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, but what about other places? Do you know about other places that might be producing things that we don't really need?
Uh, let's see. There's really a lot that we import that we don't need. There's even I mean, there's fruits and types of produce that people don't even really buy at stores very often, unless perhaps that's your ancestry, you know.
What fruits?
Like I just like Durin fruits, they're actually outlawed a lot of places, but you can sometimes buy them in grocery stores. But they smell really bad. But nobody really buys that, but they're available still.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting to me. I have no idea why we would be importing all of this useless food. But anyways, back to the
China won't save American
Okay.
farmers. What will?
We watch the markets every morning at 5:45. I get up and listen to Standard Grain. And Joe says it's 5:45 in the morning and the markets are.
Scott Brown is a row crop farmer who grows corn, rice, and soybeans.
I want to know what the price of soybeans is, how much we've exported this week.
The price of soybeans hit a high of $17 a bushel 3 years ago, but this year it's down to $10. That
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard about how we are we are importing more than we are exporting when it comes to soybeans because soybeans is more of China's kind of not monopoly on it, but China has I think our main exporter was China when it came to soybeans.
Yes.
And now China is actively refusing those because I think they've actually farmed enough for themselves. And now we have all of these soybeans that we can't really do anything with. So
Right. They had enough time from the tariffs to prepare their farms to be able to farm that out.
so the tariffs are essentially useless all the way around.
In most cases, there's like a few cases where it benefits us, like it greatly benefits us in the case of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever we're importing a lot of our things from other countries, it's a huge problem. And it's not just farming, right? Because nobody buys video cards for their computers that were made in America.
Right.
All of the video cards for computers are made either in Taiwan or South Korea or something like that. And something that a lot of people don't know too is the CEO of NVIDIA and the CEO of AMD are cousins. So even the top two video card companies have a conflict of interest because they're cousins. So they can just
Right.
talk about whatever prices they want to make.
Mm. See, that's
And none of this is
Nepotism
American. Yeah, nepotism,
Nepotism.
and we everything because we don't want our factory workers to have to make those tiny parts. It's tedious and hard work, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we have to import talent because America doesn't have any
Exactly.
talent apparently. Dude, this president has been one of the worst presidents, quite possibly the worst president that we've had in the past
Quite.
40 years alone.
Yeah, before JFK even.
Well, JFK was actually a pretty good president. I would say.
He was a beast. Yeah, he was the last real president we had.
I would agree with that. But you have today. Oh man. Oh man. All right. Let's get
And-
back over this. Yeah. Go
Same
ahead.
generation.
Mm-hmm.
All the presidents born within the same couple years. Crazy.
Weird.
means many farmers will operate at a loss, but not just for soybeans.
So for cotton, soy,
I think
corn,
my
and
camera
rice,
keeps freezing.
the average loss per
Yeah.
acre is $150
Yeah, it is.
to $350 per
If you
acre.
want, you could just disable
Adam
it.
Chappell farms 2,400 acres.
Yeah, I
about
think my
2 hours
internet's
from
being
Scott.
pretty ugly.
In September, Adam and Scott attended a meeting called for farmers to speak to their federal representatives.
Hundreds of farmers from across the state came to voice their concerns about the current state of farming.
It was a three-day notice on this meeting. We went from having 15 to 20 people to over 500.
We were in the start of harvest. For 500 farmers to get off of combines and go stand in a meeting is a big deal.
It was like a funeral in there. This is generations of farms teetering on the brink.
I'm in the worst shape right now that I've ever been in.
5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that is.
Without immediate government intervention, we're going to lose 30 to
That's something that I heard about too, is that the farmer unalive rate, right? By themselves, is astronomically. I think it's well above the national rate. Have you heard anything about that?
Well, yeah, the biggest thing about that is a lot of family farms have been in the farm for generations. Like this farm that I'm on has been in the same family over 300 years. Before America was America, this farm was owned by this family.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys would rather literally die than give up their ancestral home.
Right. Which is
Like,
something
it's
you
such
should
an
do.
impact. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
But you know what?
But it's so sad, but that's the reality they have to face, but just because these prices keep increasing.
Yeah. Is there any way you think that we could get out of this?
I think the only way to there's a couple ways to get out of it, but the biggest trick is really to get more farmers out there, farming, and where they can do it affordably, to where they can get out from underneath this. And we need more companies, to like seed companies. We need local seed companies that are crossbreeding and doing genetics to seeds, and local sources of chemicals and like ammonia and things.
Mm-hmm.
If we could do that, there would be so many jobs available, so much land for new farmers to grab, and new jobs and job security for the new scientists creating the seeds and doing all that. I think as a whole, we really need to make America self-sufficient. We need a company that builds our video cards that are designed by American hands and our own American computers and things.
And so, what would the computers do for farmers, though?
Well, they're already doing things for farmers now. A lot of the new tractors and things have technology that allows them to say, instead of trying to set a track, they can do a single straight line, and then they can set the autopilot on the tractor, and the tractor understands what it needs to do. But all that's foreign technology in there as well. So it's
made overseas.
Yeah, it's all made overseas still, and there's obviously a quality difference. And the best way I can probably describe it is, if you go to the store and you purchase 2 knives, one says made in America and one says made in China, you already know what those knives are going to be like and look like in your head without me describing anything further. How well it will last and how durable it will be, how well it'll keep an edge.
Well, I
And
mean,
it's not-
you could also argue that the things that are made here in America are pretty much the same quality as the stuff that's made in China. I mean, our homes our homes are a good example of this. You know, our homes are made very, very cheaply. built very cheaply and quickly. So, I mean, you could say that there are several companies out there that actually really care about their product, but I think what I know, not think, what I know is that the problem is corporate America, who wants to produce en masse as efficiently, cost effective as possible, right? To even sacrificing quality for that.
Right, and that's the biggest gap, I think, too, because even if it's made in America and made with a little less care, the other countries are still using a lot of children to build things, and that causes issues in the industrial line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's more active slavery in the world right now than there ever has been in human history. It's just not televised anymore.
Yeah, it's not exactly talked too much about, right? Well, we are. Well, here's the thing: are Americans considered slaves today? We're the average worker is working far more than what they ever have, right? Producing or meeting performance records, but earning less than the previous generations, right? We've been more productive. However, we continue to get less and less and less. And with the dollar now pretty much meaning nothing at this point, with what's going on, Fish? How you doing, boss man? You doing all right? Or boss girl? I don't know if you're boy or girl, but what's going on?
What up?
So with the dollar literally meaning nothing at this point, 97% of its value since 1913, would we consider Americans slaves today as well? Especially since there's no actual currency to back up a slip of paper that we call the dollar.
Right. The way I look at it is basic, and I have a weird take on this, and I don't know if everybody would agree, but slavery, when it started, oftentimes, and this isn't every single case, but a lot of times, was you making an indentured deal. You would come to America, somebody would pay for your trip, and then you would work for them to pay off that money. Yeah. Now, in my mind, anytime a person enters debt and gets a loan of any kind, they are then a slave. That's how I view modern slaves. Aside from, like, obviously the ones that are actually in mines and things and being forced to slave, but the American slave, I think anybody who's in debt in America is a slave in some way, right, to someone.
Yeah, that I would imagine. Yeah, because you have to consider the interest rate, right? Because there are certain people who consider, right, the percentage of interest that's going to be tacked on to the final product, and that is money that's just generated out of nothing, right? So instead of
garnish your wages, they will freeze your bank accounts, they will ruin your life. Some loans will.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I would consider that absolute slavery. I just don't know what we could do other than congressional action, and they're not going to do anything until it's so dire that, let's say, 500 of these guys that showed up are now, there's only like 20 or 50 left, that are still farming. So
right, we would really have to redo the government from the ground up and get all the corruption out, and every single office would have to have a time limit, either like 2 or 4 years. That way nobody's even in there long enough to really be corruptible to any degree.
Well, that would be that would be virtually impossible. Virtually impossible.
Right.
You know, because then
Yeah,
you would
just
have
being
to
able
go.
to get those ones in there.
You would have to replace all of them in mass around the same time, and that's going to be
Right. It
almost
says a
impossible
lot
to
that
do.
it says a lot that whenever they passed the Nancy Pelosi Act, so there was no insider trading, she then quit and retired. That says like so much about all of them.
Yep. Well, I mean, she's already made her hundreds of millions, you know, except for
Yes. So
over insider trading. You, bro,
right.
you really can't hate these people enough. You really
Yeah,
can't.
the money was there, and she like
Anyways, before I get too heated, let's continue this.
40% of our farmers
Yeah.
again this year. We lost 25 to 30% last year.
Farm debt is expected to reach $560 billion this year, a new record high. Facing pressure from farm states, President Trump has promised a federal aid package for farmers.
And we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, we're going to give it to our farmers.
Over the last 8 years, the federal government has sent farmers over $130 billion in emergency aid. But when you follow where that money actually goes, it reveals who's really profiting from this system and why more bailouts won't fix it.
So when I get an aid package, okay, that money will never come to me. It comes straight through my hands into whoever I owe the money to.
When federal money is sent to farmers who have debts, like Adam, Scott, and most small farmers, they quickly pass it on to the companies they borrowed from to buy the products they need to farm, like seed, fertilizer, and machinery. And the combined costs of those inputs have risen far faster than what farmers can sell their crops for on the market. Farmers pay 3 times higher on inputs than they did in the 1990s.
What has gotten us to this point?
Hang on, let us kind of traverse back here. God damn it.
Mhm.
I'm going to have to move some stuff around because let's look at this graph. Look at this giraffe. See if I can kind of scoot this down here. I got to kind of throw you guys around a little bit.
Oh, good.
So I think that is all right. Okay, so oh wait, no, that was fine. That was fine where it was at. Okay, so let's see, price index value. What is that? Is that 100,000?
Yeah, I believe so.
So 100,000 for what? Is what are we measuring specifically with this? Is
So
this
the green is basically what the price should be, and then the orange is what they just charge.
okay? Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, that is very interesting. So in 2000, it was what, 60,000 per what?
Maybe per acre.
Okay. So output prices received versus input prices paid. Okay. Yeah, so what? Yeah, so they
Yeah,
are paying well above what they're even selling.
right. That's the issue. So there's
Wow.
never a real profit margin. So it's just a continual line of debt.
Yeah. You will own nothing. You will have nothing.
Exactly.
You will have nothing and you will be forced to be happy.
Farmers
this
pay
is.
3 times higher on inputs than they did in the 1990s.
What has gotten
Wow.
us to this point is the mergers and consolidations of
So
ag
they
input
just
suppliers.
and like I said, these
2015,
companies
Monsanto
know
and
how
Bayer
much the
merged.
farmers
They were
are
competing.
making per acre. They can calculate it all up, and then they just decide to charge whatever they're making.
Yeah.
So even if the farmer finds a way to do better,
They still continue to hike the prices up.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Against each other. And that was during Obama's administration. They didn't do a thing about that. They let it happen. They let it happen. When I started farming, we had 5 or 6 Arkansas-based seed companies. Monsanto, there's none. There's none. They're all owned by Bayer or Pioneer.
In the last 40 years, thousands of seed companies have merged into 3. 46 fertilizer firms have merged into 4. And just 2 farm machinery companies dominate the markets for tractors and combines.
Just for easy numbers, say I'm going to make $500 an acre gross on an acre of whatever. Well, those companies know that, and they will price their stuff up to like $490. The lack of competition is the reason they can keep those prices inflated, and there's nothing we can do about it.
That ability to raise prices is a big part of why, while farmers are just breaking even, major input companies maintain steadily high profit margins.
I'm calling whatever the heck is.
What was that?
all these companies.
I can't. You're muffled, bud. You there?
Oh, I was just saying he's saying all the stuff I was saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Like spot on.
In the world
But
of
yeah, they just cannibalized all of our
bull
locals,
market
and
of
now they're
insane
all international.
They're going to push us up to the brink, and then when they tip us over the edge, they're going to go to the taxpayer for the balance. Instead of lowering their prices and taking a cut in their margin, they're just laundering tax money.
These fucking people, dude. Oh, I hate these people, dude.
Real.
And then look at how many people, and this is something that I wanted to talk about. The amount of people that are going to be suffering unless they make up for the food that's being lost from the private farmers and ship and import that. But then again, as he was saying, they're going to go to the taxpayers after this, after they get rid of the farmers.
Well, there's another trick too. Like the farmers can't even keep their own crop. Like they're literally not allowed to. Say you grow watermelons and you want to keep some, you can't. That's already promised to be sold. You have to go to the store and buy watermelons after you sell your watermelon.
Dude. Well, the other guy was talking about him being able to keep his crop. Oh wait, no, that was his garden, right?
Yeah, you can keep
Okay.
your garden.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what farmers do. They leave little land for a garden so they can have what they want.
So
And
pretty
your actual
much,
crop.
to kind of not exactly escape the looming threat, ever growing looming threat of losing any kind of produce. You know, you would literally have to start growing a garden in your backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's something that
This happened a long
shouldn't
time
have to
ago.
do. And
This
then-
happened a long time ago as well. We kind of talked about it. But if you look, almost all the ranches in America are gone now. It's already happened to ranches. We have like a few left.
dude. And then what'll happen
Yeah,
is
it
that
all happens
people will
behind-
start growing their own, and then the government's going to crack down on that, right?
Right. The government cracked down on anything they can't tax.
Yep. To tax it, including rainwater. You know, here in Virginia, they literally tax rainwater. Like if you are correct, if you are collecting rainwater, they will tax you for that. Isn't that insane?
In Maryland, they charge you for breathing. There's a tax for breathing. No joke.
Really? No. I
Yep.
gotta take a look at this. There's no shot.
Yep.
There's no
You
shot.
pay for breathing air. And
There's no shot. I don't believe that. Let's see. Maryland tax for breathing. Bro, there's no way. Let's see. There is no direct tax for breathing. However, Maryland has increased taxes on tobacco and nicotine products, such as cigarettes, e-cigarettes.
they be.
What? What?
They're lying. I'll find it.
Yeah. Find that for me, because if that's true, that's extremely fucked up. But let's get back. Let's get back to this here.
Oh.
This is it. That's the old elementary school. All the schools are closed now, but that's what's left of the elementary school. High school's completely gone. They demolished it. Had parts stores, restaurants. You know, even just in my lifetime, we've lost a lot.
I found it.
This was a furniture store, bank. When I was a kid, cotton plant probably had 1,500 or 1,600 people in it. The difference is, when I was a kid, there was probably 40 or 50 farmers around here. Well, now there's just like 4 or 5 of us left. And every time one of them goes out of business, that's less business for the parts store, that's less business for the restaurants. So every time consolidation happens, rural America dies a little bit more.
Since 1997, the U.S. has lost over 300,000 farms and now has fewer farms than ever in its history. In a functioning market, farmers with high input costs could just raise their selling prices. But on the selling side, they're getting squeezed just as hard by their buyers, the companies that control the global grain trade.
There's really about 4 big grain companies.
For breathing air,
is a
and
farm and
why
trade
AI
policy
will tell you it
analyst who's looked
doesn't.
at the
But if you
influence of-
read this actual article from the government website I sent it from, you will see that they are charging us for air emissions that we're not committing.
Send me a link. Oh, you already
I
did.
sent it in the private.
Okay.
So basically, because of the emissions that are caused by nuclear plants and like vehicles and all that, they charge you for air, for cleaning that air.
Okay, the Maryland Healthy
But
Air
yeah.
Act, annotated Code of Maryland Environment Title II, Ambient Air Quality Control, subtitle
Ambient
10.
air quality. So
Where,
you're getting charged
so
for
so
the
where does
ambient
it?
air around.
Where does it say where it's taxing you? Where it's taxing you?
Oh, that's just the act itself. I don't know if it'll say where it's taxed there, but I can show you that as well.
Okay. Yeah.
But any kind of act is going to charge you money.
See, over 95% of air pollution emitted from Maryland's power plants comes from the largest and oldest coal-burning plants. The emission reductions from the Healthy Air Act come in 2 phases. The first phase requires reductions in 2009-2010 timeframe compared to a 2002 emissions baseline. Reduce NOx emissions, or I'm sorry, was it nitrous oxide emissions by almost 70%, CO2 emissions by 80%, and mercury emissions by 80%. Okay, so yeah, I don't see where it says it's gonna it taxes you for breathing though. That's what I want to find.
It's under a carbon tax. The carbon tax of 2019.
Carbon tax of 2019.
Yep, in Maryland.
Oh, so where am I going to find? Is it on the page here?
No. Let me do this.
Okay. Well, while you're looking for that, I want to go back over to the video here.
Right.
Big grain companies like Cargill, Bunge, and Archer Daniels Midland.
These 4 big grain companies control almost 80% of the market in the U.S., and in many regions of the country, there's only 1 or 2 of them. Farmers are relatively weak players in the system, price takers in economic terms, meaning they have to take the price that the grain company offers.
We cannot negotiate with a buyer like ADM or Cargill and say, no, $10 isn't good enough. I'll give you my soybeans for 12. They'll just go, well, okay, get out, go on then. We have leverage against nobody. We are under monopoly rule on the input and the output side.
The global grain companies buy crops from farmers, often below cost, and turn them into processed food, animal feed, and biofuels.
They want as much product on the market as they possibly can get. They don't want any limitations, and they want to pay prices as cheap as they possibly can when they're buying corn or soy or whatever.
For decades, they've lobbied for free trade deals that allow them to move crops across borders without cost, claiming this will benefit American farmers.
We think trade, whether it be NAFTA or elsewhere, is a good thing, and the American agricultural economy has benefited significantly since NAFTA was put in place.
It's been sold to farmers that we're going to control global markets and this is going to lift prices for you and make it very profitable for you. Unfortunately, that hasn't actually worked. It's actually been a race to the bottom.
American farmers now find themselves in competition with farmers in Argentina and Brazil to sell their soybeans. For many years, China was their biggest buyer, but since Trump's trade wars began, China has pivoted to South America. That's been bad for U.S. farmers, but not for the global grain companies like Cargill, which is among the biggest agricultural exporters in Argentina and Brazil.
Their interest is very different than a national interest like the United States, our interest, or even a community level interest.
So far, the Trump administration has not followed through this year with an aid package for farmers. But in October, Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced that the U.S. would extend a $40 billion financial lifeline to prop up Argentina and its government led by Javier Milei.
I mean, we bailed.
Oh yeah. That's right. We don't bail out our own farmers who are literally committing unaliving on a scale more than the average across the entire fucking nation. But we're okay with bailing out a fucking country that we have nothing to do with. Bro, I hate this fucking government. It all has to be redone. It all has to be redone. There's no way. There's no way. The corruption is too much. Every single person in every single level of the government must be replaced by someone who actually cares about this country. We got to start running for office. All of us.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, anybody can get in there and do better.
Yeah, we have to start running for office. All of us have to. You know? All of us have to. Let's see, you sent me another link here.
Everybody doing something.
Okay, there is the... Okay, well this is a 55-page document.
Yeah, my bad. That's the Clean Air Act, though. Yeah.
Okay, so...
But...
Where does it say?
It's a bunch of...
Where does it say that they're taxing people to breathe? Is it what? Do you know what page it's on?
Well, it doesn't word it like that, right? The way they word it is how you can reduce a bunch of emissions by doing blah 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 to reduce it, but then they actually put it on our taxes. What the way they word it is in the first here we go. The way it's worded is in the first part. This report is an initial analysis on how an economy-wide carbon price could impact Maryland. So they're saying if we tax everybody for this air, then we could clean it. In the first sentence is basically what they're saying.
Mm. What's
Carbon
going on, Hugo?
pricing,
How you
they're
doing,
saying-
brother? Go ahead.
And this is an act that it's enacted as they put this into play. So carbon pricing, anytime they say that, they're charging you for breathing air. That's what carbon pricing is.
Oh. Dude, these fucking scumbags, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you.
It's good to see you too, Hugo. Glad you showed up, brother. Ah, dude. All right, bro.
Here we go. A scenario with carbon pricing starting at $40 per metric ton carbon dioxide. So what they're talking about there is if we can get enough money from people's taxes to fund 40 metric ton carbon dioxide.
Yeah, not take it, not take it from their billions of fucking dollars that they make, that they put into fucking loans to get away from, to get out of taxes. No, they're not taking any of that out. They're taking, bro. It's the very slow boiling that's happening, right? To where we will eventually have nothing, literally have nothing. And it's either we do what they tell us to, and we go and we fucking mine and we destroy our bodies out in the fucking coal mines, or we starve to death.
Right.
Those are our options. I refuse to live like that.
Well, and people are literally getting so rich that they're not even spending all their money. Like Elon Musk will never spend all his money. Like all of that is a waste that could be going to the economy.
Dude, doesn't he have I think he's a multi-hundred billionaire, isn't he?
Yeah, there's a website you can go to that simulates his money and spending it. And I went there one day and I was just clicking buy Bugattis all day. Like I was just clicking buy Bugatti and like never ran out of money.
Really? What's his net worth now? Did you know what his net worth is?
I think it's close to 700 billion. I think he's close to $1 trillion now.
Dude, we could have our debt paid off if the rich actually paid their fair share.
If Elon paid his fair share, he would pay 22 billion in taxes a year.
Yeah. But they're not going to do that because they're fucking greedy cockroaches. Right. Fucking scumbags. It's what they are.
It's too easy to just get loans from the bank, and then when the shares go up, pay off the bank with what went up in your shares and get them back and take out another loan because loans aren't taxable. All the rich people do that.
But we're still taxed on our property. Isn't that interesting?
Right.
Your
right, exactly.
Your mortgage payments, right? You still pay in full to your mortgage payments. Those are taxed. We still pay our property tax every single year.
Right.
Bro.
Like the big farmhouse here, the property tax on just the farmhouse without the barn or anything else included is $70,000 a year.
Dude, really? Just in taxes?
Yeah. Yeah, just taxes only.
Jesus Christ.
And that doesn't include the other 3 houses on the property.
Bro.
Or that doesn't include any of the land either.
Yeah, this is gonna. There's only one way that things like this usually end.
Civil War, yeah.
Well, either
People
that,
get
either that, or everything just completely goes to shit.
yeah,
You know,
or collapse. Yeah,
total collapse. Yeah, which I think there's really no coincidence that we have multiple countries all having the same issues at the same time. There's no coincidence.
right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that sucks is if America's the superpower and we're hurting, there's no way the rest of the world isn't hurting.
Well, Korea is on the verge of collapse. South Korea,
Right.
they are on the verge of collapse. China's not doing that much better. You have Australia that's struggling. You have Japan that's really struggling. You have the UK, France, Italy. You have, Italy actually is now in a strike, like a nationwide strike.
Damn.
People are boycotting even buying and selling because the taxes are too much. They're not
And
they're
Ireland's setting
they're not going to
fire.
work. They're not buying anything. They're not selling anything. They're just doing nothing. And then Ireland isn't doing that great either.
Yeah, they lit Dublin on fire because that one immigrant, illegal alien, raped one of the Irish girls. So they tried to burn down the jail with him in it and everyone else in it. So
Yeah,
it's not looking good.
massive conflict is on the horizon, and when we see massive conflict, that's when things really start spiral out of control.
Right.
You know, that's something that none of us
Because all
want.
the leaders,
None of us want that shit.
all the leaders, same age. They're all from the same generation across the planet.
Isn't that? Yeah, they're all
It's the weirdest
they're all
thing.
military aged men, all of them, or not all of them, but most of them. Most of them are military aged men, and they're coming over here,
Right.
and they're graping a good portion of our women, our young girls, especially the young girls, because these fucking weirdos, these doctors and engineers, they like to just sniff our 13 and 14-year-old girls.
Right.
Dude, bro, how much can a society take before that society decides it's enough? You know?
That's the question. Ireland's already lighting on fire, so it can't be long for the rest to.
Mexico,
joining.
Mexico's had enough too, because I saw a lot of people literally they were toppling over statues. I was talking with Hugo about this Monday. They were toppling over statues not too long ago. I saw that.
Did you see the issue in Mexico with them taking out female streamers?
Or were they unaliving female streamers?
Yeah, they're just assassinating them because they're female.
Really?
Like it's a trend.
What? You serious? They're really doing
Yeah,
that?
I'll send you a video. This one girl, they sent her this stuffed pig, and they said you got another gift coming later, and she's like taking pictures and doing streaming stuff with this stuffed pig, and the second gift she got later on was lead. There's like a super 8 female like He-Man woman hater club going on in Mexico, right? I don't know what it's about or anything, but I do know that it's a thing right now.
Dude, that has to be squashed. That has to be stomped out like super quick.
For real, what are they going to do when they get older and none of them have...
Targeting women just because they're women, bro, that's fucked.
Right.
Anyways, we're getting...
And especially and stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's finish this up, and then we can talk about that. But I want to finish this before we get too much off topic here.
Out my competition. I mean, they're my competition. And we sent taxpayer dollars to them like it was no big deal and hurt my market. Malay is big buddies with our current administration. The biggest investors in Argentina are big buddies with Besant. I mean, they worked together for years.
Besant, a former hedge fund manager, owns thousands of acres of U.S. farmland, from which he has earned around $1 million a year.
China has been boycotting American soybeans. Do you see a real light at the end of the tunnel there?
Well, Martha, in case you don't know it, I'm actually a soybean farmer, so I have felt this pain too.
When Trump and Scott Bessent say, we're for the farmers, we love the farmers, I'd say same thing that my papa and everybody's always told me. Don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. It's that simple. What have they done to help us at all?
Trump's Justice and Agriculture Department recently announced a joint investigation into high input costs and the relationship to corporate consolidation of the farm economy. But it's just the latest in over a decade of similar federal investigations that have failed to stop mergers or break up existing monopolies.
The first thing we need to address is no competition. Because when there's no competition, I have no option, and I have to take whatever these people are willing to give me.
If the Trump administration responds to this crisis with another toothless antitrust investigation, another farm bailout, and another Band-Aid deal with China, nothing will fundamentally change for American farmers.
We're probably going to have to break up those companies. And I think that's the larger story. Is this really a resilient farm system? Or should we be thinking differently about maybe not overproducing so much for export and start to think about producing more food that Americans actually eat and diversifying what people produce? We used to have more of a supply management system, but we've gotten rid of that.
Supply management is the name for policies that establish price floors for important crops so that farmers don't have to fear operating at a loss year after year.
Give us a price floor, which makes us performance-based. So if you guarantee me $12.50 a bushel for my beans, it costs $11.50 to raise them. You've guaranteed me $1 a profit on the bushels, right? Then it's on me to go do the work. I go make the bushels so that I increase my profit. Would that not make more sense? Would that not kind of end the bailout program if you had a floor?
But the big ag companies hate this.
No, because they want us beholden to them.
Cargill and ADM is forced to.
I don't know why they stopped him there. It's exactly what, he was speaking truth. That's exactly what it is. He was speaking truth, dude. So what I would say to that rather is I would say let the farmers dictate what the prices are. Obviously, they're the ones who are out there, right? They're the ones who are out there farming. They know what the prices are. Let them dictate that, and then they can go from there. When you let these greedy, and I mean greedy fucking parasites, who want nothing more than to continue their monopolies to squeeze out the average American into living a life for themselves, that's all you ever will be, is a fucking parasite. I don't see you as human. I don't. I think most of us would agree with that. So I think that's. But again, that would require congressional action, which is not possible. I don't believe.
Yeah.
Which again goes back to, only one way this goes, because even if let's say, a good portion of our young men, right, who start running for office on a massive scale, right, you're going to have other politicians that will absolutely do backdoor deals to either shut these new young men up one way or the other. And that's going to start a conflict. Or people start starving enough, and that's going to start a conflict. Either way, a conflict is going to start. Either way. I hate that it's really come to this, but it's not our fault. It's their fault for continuing to want to take advantage of a free market to benefit and only benefit themselves, extorting the lower class to the point to where they're literally starving, or they have to do the unthinkable to even survive.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Like,
this is the same cycle that we find ourselves in over and over and over again. Social class warfare. I keep saying this every single time. Social class warfare. That's what it has always been. This is always the cycle. Social class warfare.
Left versus right, it's top versus.
Yeah, it's not. It's exactly what led to the creation of the channel. It's not red versus blue. It never has been. This isn't red versus blue. It's not religion versus not. It's not black versus white. It's not man versus woman. It's not any of that shit.
Right.
It's haves versus have-nots. It's what it always has been. Social class warfare.
Right.
And even when you're a have, speaking up for the have-nots, it makes it super discouraging when the have-nots do nothing to get your back. Right?
Right.
And then you also have the haves who spoke up against the Federal Reserve, who also perished in the Titanic sinking. So that's pretty interesting. Right. Or you are Charlie, right? And you start speaking about things that really matter, things that really would bring a change about, and then you get silenced.
Right. It's all part of the same.
Yeah, it's all
same loop.
It's all part of the same simulation, man. That's
and
why
we have a bailout, and it's one we always do. We're gonna go to Venezuela now and take all their shit.
Well, that's not a bailout. It's not a bailout. Not for us.
That's what we did Iraq. That's what we tried to do in Vietnam. That's America runs on war. Like when we get in trouble, we just take shit from somebody else.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, no new wars, we were told. No new wars. We're going to end wars, matter of fact.
In the first year, he's going to start one.
Yep. Within the first year, already started one. It's already started. He's already bombing ships. Or not
yeah, true.
But we are already bombing ships in their waters already. While we are claiming that they are ships who have pirates on them, right?
And we decline their peaceful offer and dub their leader a dictator who needs to be on our assassin list, I guess.
Yep. So, they go pretty much the Trump administration goes and starts a war that the taxpayers fund. Right? So here we are, the taxpayers being mommy for everybody, right? With everyone else suckling off of the fucking teat like a bunch of crybaby little bitches. Because they're not getting their way. They're not getting a $40 million bailout. Or is it 40 billion? Was it 40 billion? I think it was 40 billion, wasn't it? Or is it 40 million?
I think it's billion.
Regardless, we bailed out an entire country. And not a single fucking farmer. Not a single one. Not a single one. Not an actual American. The cornerstone, as Mike had said earlier, the cornerstone of this fucking nation, dude. If we lose our farmers, we lose food. If we start losing food, people are going to starve. And it doesn't matter if you work in an office space or you vote or you vote strictly blue no matter who, or you are let's say a construction worker and you still believe in MAGA. It does not matter. This person is starving, that person is starving. What's going to happen?
Right.
You know?
Like, there's three things America can't go any amount of time without: farmers, truckers, and nurses. If all the doctors up and quit, nurses could keep that shit going for a while. If all the doctors stayed and the nurses quit, the ship sinks instantly. Truckers, if truckers quit on a Thursday, by Tuesday the world will be over.
Yeah, because who's going to ship all the goods? You know?
Right.
I remember porters were going on strike. What was it last year or the year before that, I think?
Yeah, last year, I think.
And then, but you can say, okay, well, people are just going to go, move everything by train. Well, yeah, but that's going to be a little bit slower. And then you
Easy
also
for them to
have,
say.
huh?
Easy for them to say, never doing it before.
Yeah. And then you also have the railroad workers that were going on strike. Right.
Right.
So, it's, yeah, there's only one way this usually ends. I hate that humanity is kind of doomed to repeat the same cycle over and over again, but you literally have, see, this is, I always end up talking about Karl Marx because he had a really good point. He had a really good point. I hate communism just as much as the next red-blooded American. But what I will say is that Karl Marx made a really good point by saying capitalism does lead to communism because eventually the human condition, right, resource preservation, right, resource, what's the desire to collect resources for yourself, right, and then preserving that,
Right.
is it's too easy for that to be corrupted. That's what we're seeing with our 1% elite class, right? And
Yeah, capitalism is the whole problem.
well, it's
The
not.
whole
It's not.
problem
It's
with all
not.
of it.
It's not capitalism. Capitalism isn't the problem, right? It's that. It's the human condition. It's the human that's the problem. The individual, right? That's the problem. The problem is that there are not enough rail guards, right, to prevent something like this from happening. Either that, or there are, and they were completely rewritten off, right? Like the very existence of the 16th Amendment is unconstitutional, right?
Right.
I mean, the very reason our founding fathers fought the war that they did was because of taxes, right?
Exactly.
And even after
On a three.
even after the Civil War, taxes were declared unconstitutional in 1891.
Right.
Right? So we should not be having any taxes at all.
Exactly.
But the human condition, right, over resource collection, resource preservation, and control of those resources, right, is exactly what's led us to today with all of the extortion, right? So it's going to be, we are going to, we're already following the same issues that Rome had, right? We're already replacing our natives with illegal immigrants who have no desire to assimilate into our culture. matter of fact, are chanting for our
Right.
deaths in the streets, right? And then you have other tiny countries overseas who are controlling our government, right? Because our government is either run by PDF files or they're too spineless to do something that really needs to be done to really lead
Right.
this country. Anyways, yeah, I think this country was lost long before you or I were even born. But people don't like to hear that. You know, I'm called crazy saying that this country only has 5 years left. But we learn about something like this every single day, losing what, 300,000 farms? Since when?
In the last few years, yeah.
The last few years, we lost
Just in the
300,000 yards. In the last few years, we lost 300,000 farms.
Yeah, and in the last 7 years, thousands of seed and chemical companies have combined into 3 major, and that's who controls all of it now.
So so these greedy cockroaches can't help themselves but to buy everything up, control everything. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way for any country to survive with this much corruption. You know? There's just no way.
Right. Yeah, it all falls on the
You
big
can't-
corporation.
There's no there's no voting our way out of this. There isn't.
Right.
I wish that there was, but if our vote actually mattered, it would have mattered back in 2020.
Right.
Right. Trump then would have won back in 2020 if the vote actually mattered.
Right.
You know? But it doesn't matter Biden or Trump, they got in office, it's still business as usual, right? So
Right.
this is only going to continue to get worse. As I've said earlier, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I don't see this getting any better, and anyone who wants to step up and make a change by running for office, doing things the right way, are probably going to be snuffed out.
Or anybody that wants to change our minds, you know, like what do you know that we don't, that stuff's gonna get better.
Right. Yep. We've had conditioning through our education. We've had conditioning through our media, such as movies, TV shows. We have conditioning through our video games. We've had conditioning through, social media, of course, and then our news, right? Because I think they were talking about TikTok. Yeah, there was someone who was, I think, planning on buying TikTok, and then was also talking about coding the algorithm a certain way to push certain information, to control information, control what you see and what you don't see. That's incredibly dangerous.
Yep.
That is incredibly dangerous. And it's already happening now
Very-
with X, YouTube, and all these other platforms. I saw another X profile not too long ago where someone had made an anti-Israel post, right? Or I mean, they were exposing the crimes that Israel's doing, but that was layered, right, on top of a pro-Israel, right, image. And then you click on the post and it's what the actual post said. I remember seeing that a while ago. We're going to start seeing that quite a bit.
Yeah, Trump actually made $13 billion by buying into TikTok.
Oh, really? Really? Well, I also
Yeah.
know that he made millions
Yeah,
of
there-
dollars for his grandson Barron as soon as he turned 18.
That's what I'm saying. Barry, one who bought into TikTok, he borrowed money from his dad and bought into TikTok and made a $13 billion profit. But this was right after the Nancy Pelosi bill, so Trump couldn't buy in directly because that would be insider trading. But if Barron, his son, bought in, then that's not insider trading.
Oh, I thought
because
I
Barron's
thought
not
Barron I thought Barron was his grandson.
Oh, that's his son.
Oh, either way. See, guys, look.
The heir to the throne.
Trump should be he should have already been impeached because there is a federal lawsuit against him and a company known as ACN. I believe I talked about this with Hugo back Monday.
Do anything.
There is a federal lawsuit that is brought before the Trump family, or I believe it might just be the Trump family now, but there was a federal lawsuit. It was dropped by a corrupt judge, but this was a lawsuit Hugo remembers. But this was a lawsuit that was brought to them because of MLMs. If you guys don't know what MLMs are, multi-level marketing companies, they're pyramid schemes, right? And they scam people all the time, destroying their lives, their families, their futures, right? And so Trump was a spokesperson for ACN, American Communications Network. You guys can look this up. From 2005 to 2015. 2015, guys. 2015, he announced his run for president. Okay. We have a president who is actively, or who is publicly known. He's even had these guys from ACN on his own channel, right? The Apprentice. And he's had nothing but good things to say about these guys. Not only that, guys, but check this out. Betsy Ross. Yeah, they flew the Betsy Ross. Betsy DeVos, right? Which is a part of the DeVos family, one of the co-founders of Amway. Guess what? Another multi-level marketing company. Was then in Trump's cabinet as the Secretary of Education.
That's wild.
Yeah. In his first
He
term.
was actually times they just never took him out of office for.
They absolutely should. They absolutely should do that. I've been trying to get this information out that, hey, look, Trump has been working with companies that scam people, and it's so fucking hard to get this information out. I've literally sent an email to bigger YouTubers being like, hey, please talk about this. Please talk about this. And no one is talking about it. I don't understand why.
Right.
This is massive, massive news. And it baffles me why, hardly anyone's talking about the farmers, how anyone is talking about the MLM cult scams that are going on. 14.6 million people have been affected by MLMs.
Right.
We are constantly getting scammed, and the FTC is allowing this, right? But we also have RFK that's allowing the shit that's happening now with the farmers.
That guy's insane.
Beyond insane, dude.
Everything he says is just batshit crazy.
I haven't heard a lot of the newer stuff that he's said, but what all has he been saying recently?
All his takes on autism and stuff are just fucking stupid.
Right. What is he?
He doesn't really. Well, he thinks it's caused by Tylenol and like a bunch of other stupid shit that it's not connected to. But he also is saying like, oh, there's been an increase in autism cases, but what he doesn't tell you is the he's talking about the data for other things from like Tylenol and all that, and that there's been a high uptick in autism cases. But they only recently started diagnosing females with autism correctly recently because they present differently than males.
Mm-hmm.
So already the data is increasing more than 50% because there's more girls than there are boys. There's more females than males.
Right.
So all numbers jump up, and he took that as a correlation. So he's like attacking a lot of foods and shit that don't even need to be addressed in any way, as well as the Tylenol thing. And I read papers.
What foods is he actively attacking?
He's attacking all kinds of shit. Let's see. I know he did a good one. Was red dye was one good one, but
Mm-hmm. Artificial? Was it artificial or was it organic? The red
I believe
dye.
a little. The red dye is red number 42, which has actually been proven to be bad. But like, he wants to get rid of all seed oil, so you wouldn't be able to buy like vegetable oil or canola oil or any of that. He wants to get rid of. Oh, now he wants to get rid of all artificial dyes. I don't know what color it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
well, I think we should absolutely get rid of artificial dyes. Actually, the majority of the things that we have in our stock when it comes to our stores and everything like that is filled with a bunch of chemicals that we don't need. There's a bunch of dyes that are, again, filled with a bunch of chemicals that we don't need. It's either bioengineered by labs that should not be happening, right? There's so much, right? There's a reason why you go overseas and your food tastes massively different. It's because of the standards over in Europe that are much higher than it is here in America, right? The reason for that is because quantity over quality.
right. Yeah, his biggest issue is the autism thing, because he doesn't understand what autism is to begin with.
Right.
And then he's connecting it to a bunch of things that even other experts are saying have nothing to do with it. And that's a personal problem for me as well, because I'm actually autistic, and you probably couldn't even tell that.
Right. I wouldn't have guessed it. No.
Yeah, nobody would have guessed it, because I got the variant that makes you really smart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or there's a lot of variants of it, but
yeah, he
is acting like it's fucking killing people, like it's like your family's dying of cancer, and he's trying to get things like Tylenol and other medications that are helpful to people taken off the shelves.
Well, like they did for antibiotics.
Right.
You know, stuff that's actually, oh yeah, that's something that I thought was incredibly full of horse shit. Was that now, because you can't go and buy antibiotics because you might have an ear infection or you might have sinus infection, something where antibiotics, you could go and maybe spend $10.99 on a fucking bottle of maybe gets I don't you could just go get some antibiotics, come back home, right, and just take a couple of pills, you're good, right? No, now you have to go to the fucking doctor
every time. Yeah,
every time you have a sinus infection, which is seasonal, could be seasonal, right? But now you have to go to the doctor every single time you have somewhat of an infection that requires antibiotics, spending more money. So it's this never-ending loop of making you sicker so that you spend more money, okay? you work more, so then you produce more for these greedy cockroaches, these lifeless parasites who want nothing more than to control you, control your life. So here you are wasting away, and now you're going to starve because there are no farms. There are no more farmers. Yeah. Like I said, there's a reason to hate these people. There is an absolute reason to hate
Plenty
these
of.
people. Because they don't care if you live or die. The only thing they care about is more profit.
Right.
So.
And the issue with K is he's in this position now, but he's treating this position like the lawyer he used to be. He's not a lawyer anymore, and he's no longer supposed to be looking into the things he's looking into. But it's like that's what he used to do, so I guess he's stuck in that mode or something.
Mm-hmm. What is he looking into that he's not supposed to be looking into? Because he's the food safety person, right?
Right, food safety person. So why is he looking into Tylenol and autism and all this shit that he has no business in?
Right.
It's because that used to be his job.
Mm-hmm.
And as a food person, he shouldn't be looking at any pharmaceuticals or any types of concurrent chronic diseases or any other thing like that.
We have
and
we have an attorney general for that, right?
Exactly. He's trying to be the attorney general, basically. But the thing is, not only is he wrong and doesn't know what he's saying about a lot of these conditions and pharmaceutical stuff that he's talking about, but if you look into RFK, he did a lot of cocaine and other drugs throughout college, so I'm not even sure that he actually really knows what he's talking about on anything, as much drugs as I found in his past.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they all did a little nose candy.
Right.
You know?
I think that's how he developed his voice issue, was I think he did so many drugs that tore it up.
I have no idea, and I'm not gonna say one way or the other because I don't know, and I'm not gonna get sued. So. Because if Kash Patel, who will hopefully soon not be Director Kash Patel, but would preferably be homeless Kash Patel, then maybe they will actually get some answers. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But if I lost my train of thought. I'm so fried with all of this information.
So much. It's a lot to take in. Yeah.
It is a lot. It is a lot because you're also thinking, what's going to happen, right? And you don't want a conflict of any kind, right? I don't want our country to go to war with Venezuela, right? I don't want our farmers to lose their livelihoods. I don't want all of this stuff to happen. And yet there are certain people in this country that do. Those
right.
and only those who benefit from it, unfortunately. But conflict is absolutely going to come from that, should all of these things continue to happen. But here's the thing. I said that it wasn't our fault earlier. Let me make a correction, or I should say, let me clarify. It's not our greediness. It's not our greediness that brought us into this situation. It's their greediness that brought us into this situation, and our responsibility was to stop it.
Right.
At the root. there should have been massive protests against the Federal Reserve. There should have been massive protests. I don't know if there were, but if there weren't, there should have been. And
Federal Reserve could be a video of its own too, because that's the insanity that surrounds that place and how they're able to print money. It's just mind blowing.
yeah, they're
a separate entity.
Anytime anything happens, I think they start printing money.
Yeah, basically.
And every time they print money, the value continues to go down.
Right.
And we have nothing to back that up. So
yeah, if you private message I sent you in Discord, you'll see a little bit about RFK and what I was talking about. I'm trying to find there's evidence of him using drugs in his position now, I'm pretty sure, and that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, well, we will check that out after stream. So
yeah, that could show you some stuff though.
Dude, I just see a very dark future for America. I really do, with all the things that have been happening. It's not enough with the AI. It's not enough with our politics, our political atmosphere. It's not enough with our foreign policy. It's not enough with what's going on with our food, our farmers, our chemicals, bioengineering meat, and everything like that. The Lone Star tick. It's not enough now. All of these things coming together all at once that have been, I would say, snowballing for the past 50 to 100 years. Now we're really coming to a head. I honestly think that the boiling over point is right about now. All of us are really feeling the heat of the water really boiling, and the frog wants to jump out, right? But there's really nowhere to go because the pot is already so hot. It's hard to grab onto, and anywhere you go is going to lead to a bad situation. Right. So while other tiny countries get free healthcare, right? Every time we get a sinus infection, we have to go and see a doctor. We get put that much more into debt. Our insurance companies aren't calling us on anything. We have to pay extremely high deductibles. And then when it comes to health insurance, guess what? We also have to pay super high premiums for that. And now that's even going to continue to get higher and higher. And now there's also an there's also an electricity problem, right? With all these data centers that they're wanting to, Well, actually, no. I don't think data centers are necessarily the issue. I think it's
AI oriented data centers.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's right. That's right. Yeah, because the AI is dictating which power, how much power is going to go where, or how it's going to do it, and
you got to think that's the amalgamation of like 58,000 video cards running at the same time. Like, it's insane. I'll find the video to send you, but there's a guy that lives less than 5 miles from one of those centers, and he said decibel loudness outside of his house is over 105 decibels just from that center being within 5 miles of his house.
It's that loud?
Yeah, it's that loud.
Wow.
Because they have to have 58,000 GPUs, and they're all like 5,900, like the best top of the line. That generates a lot of heat.
Yeah.
So they got to cool that down with big ass fans.
Right. Yeah.
They use cooling. They still have to cycle that with like really loud machinery.
Right. And what? How does that apply to the residential area, though?
So they've been trying to avoid keeping them anywhere near residential areas because of some of the issues they're aware of. But it puts a strain on the energy grid, and they said it's also contributing to issues with the wildlife as well. Like it's displacing wildlife not wanting to come around. So,
Okay,
say
so
that guy used to hunt
so
he can't hunt property now because 105 decibels.
okay, so what would really fix that is using these what water-filled, right? What water-filled nuclear power plants, which
Right.
which puts out way more power than I think these data centers will. Is that right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Or if they center in water like they were originally going to do,
I think
they were going to put ghosts.
Oh, okay. I think that's
Like,
exactly why they were putting I think that's why there was such a huge emphasis on putting these data centers or bringing in more of them, especially with AI, was to make the country greener. You know, which doesn't really make any sense at all because we're one of the very few countries who actually do that. And we're not putting
Right.
out we are not putting out the energy that we really need to. Right? So you have all these strains that are happening, and then there's also mass immigration, mass illegal immigration, right? That these clash of cultures that do not mesh well, right? So that's a massive problem in and of itself too. And people are calling me crazy for saying I literally had another YouTuber literally telling me that I needed to touch grass because I have no idea what a drone does. And I'm evidently pretty crazy because I say this country only has 5 years left. Right. Okay. Whatever, Bo. Whatever, dude.
But we're also about to enter a computational hellscape too, because people aren't going to be able to build computers. We were having
Dude, people can't even fucking spell, dude. I saw a video of some chick who had no idea how to fucking spell. Here, actually, let me I'm going to find this for you guys. This was absolutely insane to me. Let me see if I can find this video here. I'm sure it's on my page. I was blown
But yeah,
away by
those-
this. What was that?
those AI farms, they caused a shortage in video cards, but now that's extending to RAM. So now people are going to be missing two big components for building computers. That's part of why I wanted you to grab yours as soon as you could, because the prices are about to skyrocket on computers.
Okay, well I'll be sure to grab mine here very soon then. Because I don't want to get stuck with absolute horse shit. But I mean, you know, will it even matter? Maybe that's not the right way to think. All right. Okay, so here's a video. I found it. All right. Guys, you are gonna lose your fucking mind. And this chick thinks it's funny. She thinks it's funny. I don't know why she thinks it's funny, but she absolutely thinks it's hilarious.
I'm 27 years old in a corporate job, and I do not know how to spell. Okay? Because I'm from the generation where I'm in 5th grade
How in the fuck did people like this graduate high school? You know? How? How did people like this graduate high school? I want to know. Phil Collins, I want to know. Can you tell me?
I couldn't even begin to guess. That's insane.
Yeah. This is our education. Best in the world. We're the richest country in the world. Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah. So, I mean,
because we invented, I guess, and electricity. That's all we got.
Our schools are teaching our kids nothing. What's going to happen when these 300 million jobs are taken over by AI, and we have all of these new high school graduates, who have aspiring dreams to be engineers or doctors, or funny how we're talking about engineers and doctors, and we're having all these H-1B visas coming over here because we don't have the talent to fill these jobs. Anyways, and we don't even have farmers. We need to put these people. If she can't spell, you can go to the fucking farm.
Yeah.
Go to the fucking
That
farm.
could work.
Go to the farm. Make yourself useful. Make yourself useful. Instead of typing on a keyboard, put yourself to work. Like all of us have. Put yourself to work. Be useful to society. Stop laughing about it and making content about it online. And go be a farmer. Go be a farmer. But honestly, I don't think more farmers is really the answer. Because we're all just coming back to the same thing, monopolization.
Yeah, if we need more companies to be able to help the family farmers, to get more family farmers.
Well, that's cool and all, but what happens if they get bought off by the same? What if they get bought off by Bayer? What if they get bought off by the other companies that those guys have talked about, right?
Yeah.
What if they get sued into oblivion? Because that's exactly what they're trying to do with Glock. They sued. What was it? Remington out of business, right? Didn't they sue Remington out of business?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought they sued Remington, or was it who made the ACR? It wasn't Remington. But I think anyways, I do want to say it was Remington. I do think that they actually did sue Remington into oblivion. I don't know, chat. Could you verify that if they sued Remington into oblivion? Mike, I don't know if you're still there, but maybe you guys could answer that for me. But I do know that, especially with the gun industry, I do want to say that it was Remington they sued into oblivion.
Yeah, Remington did an ACR in the 2010s.
Well, it wasn't Remington. It was a company that they owned that made the ACR. But I do know they actually sued Remington too into oblivion, but they're doing that now with Glock. Can you imagine what they would do, right? Because they're spraying farmers' crops right now with aluminum. Can you imagine if they would continue to do that shady shit, right? And then be like, oh, well, your farm has some pretty questionable chemicals in it. We're going to shut you down, right? Or they could just outright intimidate people by what they did with the Amish.
Right.
You know, so then you have that problem. All of the roads lead back to the same road. Conflict, whether legal conflict or physical conflict. So
Legal is the first attempt, and then if that doesn't work,
well, legal only works when there isn't any corruption. And guess
Right.
what? There's a massive amount of corruption now.
right? Because notice when presidents don't agree with judges, they just fire all of them and appoint who they like. Like every time there's a president.
Right. Well, I mean that happens federal, state level, local level, you know. So
Right. It's all corruptible.
all of it is. That's why I was talking about guardrails for capitalism. A free market, but there are very clear confines. I wish our founding fathers had wrote something very specific for free market.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. But we gotta get rid of the 16th Amendment. We gotta get rid of that.
Right.
It was declared unconstitutional from the start, so it has to be done away with. The 16th Amendment has to go.
It's tax when we went to war over a 3% tax on AT. That was only over.
Well, it's not. It wasn't the taxation that was the issue. It was taxation without representation. That's what it was, right? That's what it was about. Their cities were being burned, and King George wasn't doing anything about it. Matter of fact, King George was putting people into fake trials and convicting them from that fake trials. That's what they were. That's what their grievance was. It wasn't necessarily the taxations that they were receiving from, tea or coffee or whatnot, but it's just that they weren't fairly being represented. So, I understand that. We're not being represented today at all. Where is most of our money going? To a tiny fucking country that we have no documentation
connection with.
Exactly. But our politicians, our government is so filled with PDF files that we're captured by these guys. And so there we are. But yeah, this is going to lead us to massive conflict. I really hate that I really hate to say that because I don't want it to happen. I really don't want it to happen. I would love for things to remain peaceful and prosperous for all that are involved. But there's just too much corruption. There's too much corruption. There's too much greed.
And I don't know if you saw the thing, but Trump said we're going to do boots on the ground in Venezuela soon.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that earlier today. That we America cannot help itself by sticking our noses in where it doesn't belong.
Right.
So that's why I was saying, I believe Mike, I was talking with Mike about this. This goes beyond resources. There's a reason why they are trying to regime change. Maduro, the president. There's a reason, and it's a political reason. So, who is it that they're going to install into power? I don't know. But that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
It always is. Like, why are we doing this again?
Yep.
like it's never the last time.
Yeah.
They always tell the troops it's always the last time, always the last war, but it's always just another time in another war.
Yep. Exactly. I think what's going on is that because they're also talking about digital ID as well, and you get control over the food. You get control over people, people's families.
As a programmer, if they do digital IDs, that will be the end of the world, because anything on the internet works like real locks in real life. Real locks in real life only keep honest people out.
Right. Well, I'm talking like I'm talking like social credit scores and shit like that.
Yeah, that may work a little bit in China, but here where we invented all that shit, you can send a few packets and figure out anything on anybody, and just you could modify it all. Anything that's connected to kind of grid you can connect to in a matter of minutes on a Linux system.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be it can be dog shit. And you don't even have to program anything. You can go take snippets of code from other guys that did it and then just tailor it to your personal whatever you're working on. Plug the shit in, click a button, and you're done. You don't even have to know how to fucking do it now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've done that a couple times with code. So, all right, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you happen to have any other updates for us in the farming industry, come back on, or if you want to talk about something, just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. You could really do some in the tech industry, because that's really what I specialize the most in is tech.
Okay, and we can we could do. I could bring you back on Friday. Actually,
Yeah, that'll work.
Hang on a second. I want to make sure that. Okay, yeah, no, we're fine. We're fine. I can bring you on. Yeah, I can bring you back on Friday, and then we can talk about that tech industry.
Yeah, because I got some crazy, insane shit going on there right now.
Okay, well that sounds great, man. I'll bring you back on Friday.
Right on. That's
All right, dude. Well, guys, make sure you join for tomorrow. Playing some more Ark tomorrow, and then playing some Halo Sunday. Just kind of get a break from all of this political stuff. So, anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you that have joined. I hope this information was helpful to you. Remember, times are getting crazy. Remember to stay safe. Okay, make sure you carry. Make sure you train. Act within the law.
Hell yeah.
Be peaceful. Always be peaceful. We want peace. We want nothing but peace. So, just be careful. If you need me for anything, please reach out. I'm always here. I love you all, guys. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys. Thanks again for coming on, my boy. And I'll have you back on Friday. Bye, guys.
Anytime. Okay.